Symbolizing some very powerful spiritual truths. He's sitting at the right side, wearing a white robe. Mark is showing us that the same Jesus who gave them release then is the same Jesus who can liberate and release you right now from whatever the struggles and whatever the fear that you are facing. So the young man says to them, do not be afraid. You are looking for Jesus who was crucified. He is not here. He is risen. There, see, is the place where they laid him. People have been seeking Jesus all through Mark. The enemies were seeking Jesus to destroy him. Others, the onlookers and the spectators, were looking for Jesus to see a miracle. But these women were seeking Jesus to serve Jesus. Jesus is not there because Jesus, beloved, cannot be confined to where the oppressors want to circumscribe him. Jesus will not stay where the status quo folk want to fence him in, and Jesus will not be locked in where you or I would limit Jesus. Jesus is bigger than your thoughts about Jesus. Jesus is not just in any one church or any one person. Jesus is too big for any one church. Don't let nobody fool you. Talking about they got the full gospel. They couldn't handle the full gospel. Jesus is everywhere at the same time and will not be limited to our limitations, beloved. Jesus is bigger and broader than what the rituals and the orthodoxy say about Jesus. Jesus is not limited to your dogma. Jesus is not limited to your ritual. They did not find him there because Jesus cannot be confined to a place or a particular way of seeing Jesus. But ultimately, the young man dressed in the white robe says, go tell his disciples and Peter. Stop right there. Because even though people, what it say, even though people make mistakes, nobody is a mistake. Everybody deserves another chance. Go tell his disciples and Peter. I don't care what you have done or how many times you have done it. I don't care where you have been. You will get another chance with Jesus. Other people don't want to give you another chance because you've been incarcerated. Other people don't want to give you a chance because you have a disease like HIV and AIDS. Other people look down on you because you don't live in the neighborhood they live in, or you don't wear the clothes that they have, or drive the car that they do. But Jesus gives you a chance and another chance. And I didn't say second chance because I messed up my second chance a long time ago. But the Lord gives us another chance and another chance and another chance. When I get to yours, you just holler, and another chance and another chance and another chance and another chance, because everybody deserves another chance. See, yeah, right there. He says, go tell my disciples and Peter. In other words, restore my broken community. In other words, reinstate my broken disciple, Peter. In other words, reestablish my beloved community. Go and tell his disciples and Peter that he, Jesus, is going ahead. In other words, the community is broken because of the death of Jesus. The community is fractured because of what happened to this black man who was innocent of a crime. The community is disorganized, and Jesus says, I need my community restored. Tells the women in this reversal, this is not a reversal to put you over anybody, but equal with everybody. And so don't look on others like the oppressors look on people and look down on them, but bring my community back together in communion. Beloved, go tell his disciples and Peter that he, Jesus, is going ahead of you to Galilee. There you will see him.
Yes, sir.
Just as he already told you. Here is where the critical question comes into effect. Mark has a subtle suggestion here. They are told to go back to Galilee. Why? Galilee is where it all started.
Right.
Galilee is where the disciples were first called by Jesus. Galilee is where they were first named, first sent, and first taught by Jesus. And they are told, go back to where you started and start over again. Go back to where it all began. But here it is. They are being challenged to go back to follow. You didn't follow at first, but the community must follow because Jesus has already gone ahead of them. Know that whatever you face, Jesus has already gone ahead of you in it. Whatever you are going through, Jesus has already gone ahead of you in it. Jesus has already made a way out of no way. Jesus has already gone ahead of you through whatever divorce or disillusion of a relationship. Jesus has already gone ahead of you in betrayal. Jesus has already gone ahead of you with fake and faulty friends. Jesus has already gone ahead of you when family puts you down. Jesus has already gone ahead of you when your community is coming apart. Jesus has already gone ahead. And so you can walk following Jesus. Mark's gospel started out with Jesus telling his disciples, follow me, Mark 1:17. And in the middle of Mark's gospel, Jesus has to check their spiritual compass by asking them, who do you say that I am? Who do you say Jesus is, beloved? When you leave from here, who do you say Jesus is? And then Mark's gospel ends with Jesus going ahead of them into Galilee to continue his ministry once again. Jesus goes ahead of us and commands true disciples to follow him wherever and whenever. I need to tell you a secret that most preachers will not tell you. And I'm through. And that is that Mark's gospel originally, in its original form, ended right here at the 8th verse. Those of you who have your Bibles, look at your Bibles. You will probably see an indentation that says the most reliable early manuscripts and other ancient witnesses do not have Mark 16:9-20. Because those verses were added later. Why were they added? Because it was uncomfortable for some people to leave that gospel with the women bewildered and trembling in fear and not having said anything to anybody. It made some folk uncomfortable to have it end just like that. The women were in fear because it is a fearful thing to be placed in the role of announcing the alarmingly awesome to others who have never thought you were important anyhow. The women were going to have to go back to Galilee where the men didn't think anything about women. The women were going to have to go back to Galilee where the men looked down on the women. The women were going to have to go back to Galilee where the community held up a patriarchal standard that said women have no business preaching the gospel. Women have no business standing in the pulpit. Women have no business being a pastor. They were going to have to go back to the same that had damaged them and put upon them all of these strictures and structures that oppressed them, and they were going to have to preach a message, to tell a story that was unbelievable, a story that no one would understand. They were going to have to tell a story that was just plain crazy. How could he come back? And so they were in fear, beloved. They were entrusted with resurrection reality to reunite a ruined community. And so Mark leaves it with what will they do? Mark leaves us hanging because it ain't just about them. It's also about us. Now what? The spiritual significance of the shortened version is it leads to the next step up to you and to me. If you believe that Jesus is real, now what? If you believe that Jesus is the way, now what? If you believe that Jesus has been raised from the dead, now what? If you believe that Jesus has been resurrected, then now what? Will you follow Jesus? Not to Galilee here, but to Gary. Will you follow Jesus to Hammond, to Chicago, West Side, South Side, East Side? Will you follow Jesus wherever Jesus has gone? Because he's not here. He has risen. And he has gone to where people need him. Will you follow him after you leave today? You got the greens on the stove, candy yam. You got the food smelling up the house. You got family who are going to gather together. But I leave you with the words that Mark leaves us with. So what does resurrection mean? The only way it has meaning is for true witnesses to witness to resurrection power to people who are powerless. Resurrection reality to people who are existing in a rough reality. Resurrection faith that can overturn and give you what you need to overcome. Now what? God bless you. Would you stand? The invitation is to you.